In 2012, 95,000 children were killed worldwide. When forensic anthropologists find child skeletal remains, our best chance to identify the victim is to estimate their age at death. When we estimate age, we assume that our individual is typical of the population from which we derived the method. In the case of child homicide victims, this may not be the case. The methods we use for this were developed over 50 years ago. Since then, changes in nutrition and healthcare have led to increased height and generally faster growth. Tests on these methods suggest that 25 to 50% of the original sample would be considered stunted by today's standards. So that clearly this method might not be appropriate for modern use. So what is an appropriate sample? That's where my research comes in. You'd think that the next logical step would be to develop a method based on the average modern growth, right? Well, it might actually be more complicated than that. Research also suggests that children who become victims of homicide are more likely to be from a lower social economic background, and that this background leads to increased risk for malnutrition, emotional stress, and physical abuse. For anthropologists, these words are red flags. We associate these factors with impaired growth and reduced final stature. So we may not be able to use these as an appropriate reference sample because their growth simply does not match that of the reference population. Here's a quick example. The map of Vancouver behind me shows the percentage of children for each neighborhood who fall below the 10th percentile nationally for physical development. In Strathcona, about 30% of children fall below that 10th percentile. In Kitsilano, which is a comparatively better off area, the statistic drops off to about 5%. So what is an appropriate reference sample? And how do we develop better methods? These are the questions I'm asking. I'm collecting height and development data from autopsy reports from across North America. Through comparison to national averages and statistical analysis, we can quantify exactly what the difference in growth is between the forensic and the general population. This updated method could have wide-ranging impact. It could help us identify child victims more quickly and more efficiently. On a social level, it will help quantify the impact that social economic status has on a child's growth and development. But it's also important for humanitarian reasons. Like I said, in 2012, 95,000 children were killed. It's a lot of children, but it's also a lot of families. With updated methods, first in North America and later on in other parts of the world, we can help many families get answers and closure more quickly. Thanks.